Hello, Facebook family. It is time, almost time, for Sunday Night Live. I'm your host, Shannon LaBruyere, and I am all about helping you thrive in change. I'm so excited tonight to share something that I've been mulling over for the past couple of weeks, and I felt like it was time to share it with all of you. It's not something that immediately reminds you of thriving in change. So be forewarned that it is absolutely for people who want to have change, who want to be change agents. But it's not my typical 1, 2, 3 steps of these are the things you can do. So know that going in, but I am really excited to share it with you. Shay, I'm so glad you jumped on. It is a pleasure to see you, especially because here in Michigan, it has been the most fantastic spring day. I just can't tell you how wonderful it's been. And so to know that some of my Michigan peeps are jumping on when they could be out on the deck, or actually maybe you are out on the deck in the sun drinking iced tea. Maybe I shouldn't assume. Anyway, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And for the rest of you who may be in other countries, other cities across the United States, I know we're juggling time zones, we're juggling climates, we're juggling all kinds of stuff. Thank you for being here. It is such a pleasure. Oh, hi, Gary Allen. I'm glad you said hi. I'm glad you jumped in. Thank you, Shay, for sharing. Gosh, this is fun, you guys. Well, we're going to get started. I don't want to take too much of your special evening. And this is who this message is for today. I am going to talk to the people who have been hiding their gifts, hiding their talents, hiding the value that they could bring to the people around them. People who have been hiding the change that their heart wants to make in the world around, but they're afraid to do it, or they think that they're not, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not, I don't want to say responsible to do it, that, well, maybe that is the word, that they're not responsible to make change happen. And so they just sit back and they figure somebody else is going to take the lead. I'm talking to you tonight. Those of you who have been hiding your gifts, your talents, your abilities, hiding the purpose that you've got inside of you that says, I know I should be doing this, but I'm not. I'm talking to you. All right, so let's go back a few years to when I was working in a mail processing plant, and we had letters, Hi, Hunter. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you. I haven't seen you on Sunday Night Live in a while. All right, so back to my story. I worked in a mail processing plant, and we had over 1 million letters with stamps on them come across our conveyor belt every night. 1 million pieces of paper filled with pieces of paper surrounded by millions and millions of other envelopes filled with letters that didn't have stamps on them. I'm talking, we worked in just a huge mountain of paper. And one day, as I was working on a conveyor belt that mail would go across, and I would just look and pat it to make sure there was nothing lumpy in there so it didn't mess up a machine, I noticed off in the corner of this piece of equipment a spark. And all of a sudden that spark became a flame. And we're surrounded by paper. And that flame started to grow. And my first thought was, oh my gosh, I need a fire extinguisher. I need a fire extinguisher. And I look around the room, and sure enough, right on that column, right over there, with a big red sign with white letters and an arrow, it said fire extinguisher. And I was able to immediately, that fast, run over there, grabbed that fire extinguisher, and I stood at the ready while a couple of other people tried to stop the fire by tamping it out and unplugging equipment. And it turned out I never had to use the fire extinguisher, which was a great thing. But I knew where to find it because there was a huge sign with an arrow, red and white, that made it perfectly clear. This is where you get that fire extinguisher if you ever need it. Emilio, I'm glad you're here. Lynn, thanks for jumping on. It's so good to see you guys. We're talking about people who are hiding their best gifts. I'm talking to people who are hiding the change that they know they want to make in the world for whatever reason. Sometimes it's fear that stops us. Sometimes it's fear that keeps us hiding. We want to lay low. We don't want anybody to notice us, right? We think we're just gonna lurk over here in the corner and maybe make a little change once in a while, right? I'm talking to you tonight. I'm telling you, people, we need to be like those fire extinguishers. We need to have signs that announce, this is where I am. My name's Shannon LaBruyere, and I am here to help you thrive in change, right? I'm here to help you navigate the good change, the bad change, the ugly change. You've heard me say that a lot, haven't you? I'm here to help you thrive and blossom even when change is happening in your life. That's the sign that's over me. And it's important for me to let you know how I can help. Because if you don't know how I can help, you will suffer, you will be in pain, you won't have the positive change that you want in your life. What good is a fire extinguisher if I see a fire breaking out in a pile of paper and I look around the room and I have no idea where that fire extinguisher is? It is the most useful device in the world when you have a fire. And it is absolutely useless if you don't know where to find it. Fire extinguishers are very, very useful. But if nobody can find it, it doesn't matter how useful it is. It's not going to do any good. Can you see where I'm going with this? You've got something that you were created to do. That's my belief. You were created to do something great. There are things that you were designed uniquely, specifically to do in the world that you occupy. You were designed to do it. And if you don't ever let people know, I'm here, I can help, those will all be wasted. It's no good hiding. All the good change that you can make happen in your life and in other people's lives relies in great part on you letting people know, I'm here and I'm willing to help. We have to put the hand in the air. I'm here. I am not talking about, look at me, hey everybody, look, I'm over here and I'm awesome. That's not what I'm talking about. Although if that's your personality, you do you. You do you. That doesn't have to be the way it is. But there has to be a way for you to share with the people that you are serving what you can do and how you can help. All right. You're much more effective when you are visible, when people know this is what you do. This is how you can help. We cannot wait to be discovered. That doesn't mean people don't get discovered. I know Charlize Theron was in a South African coffee shop and some movie producer saw her and said, I have to have you in my movie. And one day she's drinking coffee in a Starbucks and the next day she's starring in feature films. So that happens, 1 in a million. Thanks, Emilio. Yeah, We, once in a blue moon, and I mean that almost literally, once in a blue moon, people will discover what you're good at. But I think it's far more likely that we know what we're good at. We know. We know the gifts we have. We know where our purpose lies, and we've been talking about purpose for the past couple of weeks. We know where our passion lies. And it is not just okay, it is essential that you let people know, this is what I can do. This is how I can serve. We are all in the business of making change happen. Entrepreneurs, CEOs, volunteers and charities, parents, aunts and uncles, gas station attendants, you name it. It all involves us trying to make a positive change happen in the world that we're in. Sometimes we get paid to do that. Sometimes we do it of our own free gift because we want to just share and add value. But we're all in the business of making positive change happen, and we will be much more effective at that when people can see us. So I'm going to ask, I don't know if anybody will be able to come up with it. There is a one-word term for what I'm talking about, and I wonder if you can guess what it is. Sometimes people assign a negative connotation to it, and they sneer at it and think it's terrible. They think it's self-serving. They think it's pushy. The term that I'm talking about is marketing. We market ourselves. We are marketing ourselves when we are connecting the value we can add to people with the people who need it. That is marketing. And we are all marketing something, whether it's something that we're selling or something that we're giving, or just trying to convince the toddler that yes, we do need to brush our teeth before we go to bed, right? Got to do a little salesmanship there, adding value to people, connecting the people with the need with our gift and our talent that fits it. I used to have a real negative feeling about marketing, and especially about marketing myself and what I do. As many of you know, for years, I worked in an organization, 31 years, 5 months, 9 days. I worked in an organization where all of my clients were built in for me. Whatever value I was adding was dictated by someone else, my employer. I was assigned where to go. I was told what kind of value I could add. Most of the time, the value they were asking me to add lined up great with my talents and my abilities. So it was a great relationship. But I didn't have to market myself much because I was just there in the mix. But when I left that organization and started selling my products, my services, selling the value I add to others, I had to start thinking about marketing. And I decided I did not like it. Oh, Emilio says Dan Martin talks a bit about this. I have to look into Dan Martin. I'll be honest with you, Emilio. I've never checked into him, so I'll definitely check it out. If there's a book that you've read of his, pop it in the comments because I'll check it out. I've got an Audible audiobook credit, and I don't have anybody assigned to it, so maybe I'll get something by Dan Martin. All right, so I always thought about marketing as something negative and pushy. And then I had this experience that totally changed the way I thought about it. Sorry, Dan Martin came up? Oh, maybe you're trying to tag Dan Martin? I'm letting it go. Amelia, work it out. And if Dan Martin isn't a famous author who talks about marketing, well, if you know of another one, like I said, I have an audio credit, right? Okay, so my perception of what marketing is had to change because somehow I needed to let people know this is what I'm good at. This is how I can help you. And if you need this, if you have a fire, I am your fire extinguisher, right? If you have a fire, I'm your fire extinguisher. And marketing is the sign that says, there she is. There she is. She can help you, right? So I started thinking about marketing a little bit differently when I went to a speech. I was invited to speak to the National Association of Career Women, and it was the chapter here in Port Huron, Michigan. It was a few months back. And I got there just as people were starting to arrive, and I started hearing people what they were talking about, and they were chit-chatting. And so I heard one person say to the person they were with, "Oh yeah, I'm excited to hear Shannon speak. I heard this was good. This is going to be good." And I felt my confidence start to lift, right? And then I saw another couple of people, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, I heard she talks a lot about change, and I'm going through a lot of change, and so this is going to be really helpful for me." And my confidence boosted a little more. And what I started to realize was that my marketing, which is basically me doing things like this, getting on Facebook Live saying, "Hey everybody, if you have a need, I can help you. Look at this. Come see this. Come hear this. Come hear what I have to say. If you're struggling with change, I can help you." And where I had been embarrassed to say that before, I started realizing, wait a second. The reason that they know that they can get help is because I'm telling them, yeah, I know where you hurt and I can help you. And I started to think about marketing a little differently. Then when the session started filling up, all these ladies are coming in, I was talking to one of the people who planned, and they said, "Oh, this has been a very successful luncheon. We had a lot of people come that we haven't had in a while. They heard you were speaking and they wanted to come and hear what you had to say." And I thought to myself, wow, they had a successful luncheon because people knew what I do. And so I don't want this to be too self-centered, but I am really honest when I tell you this. It blew my mind. I had been thinking all along that every time I said, "Hey, look at here. I help leaders navigate change in their organizations so that they keep morale high. I help executives who are stressed process what they're going through and come up with strategies to do better. I help people who are planning luncheons have an entertaining, value-adding presentation that all of the members who attend enjoy." I thought that really all I was saying was, "Look at me, look at me." But that's not what I was saying at all, because that's not why I do what I do. Why do you do what you do? Why are you a school teacher? Why are you a volunteer who rocks babies at the hospital? Why are you a pastor? Why are you an outreach director? Why are you a Girl Scout leader? You could go into all of those roles and say to yourself, "I don't want anybody to know that I'm a Girl Scout leader." And you'll have a troop with about 3 people, right? And what happens? Your gifts and talents as a Girl Scout leader aren't used to their best effect. The girls that you're serving don't have as much excitement as they would if they had more members to share their troop with, right? They don't have as big of a team. If you're a volunteer who works at a charity, I'm not suggesting that you go out there and say, "Hey, look at me." Lynn Carnes is the president of Women's Life Chapter 911, and she has a heart to serve people. And she does a lot of posts on Facebook. And many of them say, "There's a need over here, there's a need over here. Hey, everybody, call me, because if you want to help, I can point you in the right direction." That's not her saying, "Look at me, look at me." That's her saying, I can help, right? Carol says, "We want to make a difference in people's lives." Yes. Yes, yes, yes. If we want to make a difference in people's lives, they have to know what difference we can help them make. Yeah. So I don't care what role you're in, hiding behind false modesty that says, "I don't want anybody to know. I don't want anybody to know that I do a beautiful job giving haircuts. I don't want to tell anybody." Why not? There's a billion guys out there who need a good haircut. They need to know about you. They need to know about you. I just want you to know you don't have to hide. It is time for those of us who know the good that we want to do in the world, the change we want to see happen. It is time for us to step into the forefront and say, if you need a fire extinguisher, here it is. If you need a pastor, here I am, right? If you need your lawn mowed, I'm here. I'm here. I can do it. I can help. There are so many changes that we would love to see happen, that would happen if we would stop hiding and start letting the people around us know, this is the value I want to add in the world. Hunter says it's okay to promote your abilities. Yes, although I'd say it a slight bit different. I think it's important for people to understand our abilities, right? They need to understand this is what I can do. And sometimes it's important for them to understand, and this is what I can't do, right? But sometimes we're afraid to tell people, I am really good at X. I am really good at X. I was talking with a friend the other day, and she mentioned that she would love to rock babies. And she's really good at calming babies. She's really good at it. That would be an area where I am not so great. When I'm worked up, babies get worked up. And when babies are worked up, I tend to get worked up. So that's not the job for me. That's not the place where I would add my gifts and talents. But she knows what she's good at and says, that's where I want to add value. Diane, welcome. I'm so glad you jumped on. We're talking about how important it is to, quote unquote, market ourselves, not because we seek attention, but because we are filling a need that somebody has. And not everybody has the same need, and not everybody works with the same type of person. So just because there are 5,000 realtors out there doesn't mean that there isn't a person who needs you. Exactly you, right? Whatever gift and ability you have, you are unique, and people, not everybody, but the right people want to work with you. They want you to be the one to add value to their lives. They want you to be the one to mow their lawn, or to speak at their luncheon, or to cut their hair, or to lead their team. They want you, and they can't find you unless you stop hiding. How do you plan to stop hiding? Gina, I'm so glad you jumped on. Welcome. All right, Eric, it's time to climb up the ladder and scream. Guess what I can see that you haven't seen yet? Oh my gosh, Eric, I love that. Yes, look, I can see from here. You guys, there's gold in them there hills, right? I love that analogy. Yes, not look at me and how impressive I am, but we can, whatever our talent, we can stand on the top of that ladder in our little world and say, oh my gosh, I can see it. We can get there. Let's go. That's it, people. It's marketing 101, but it's marketing with a twist. And I don't care what job you're in. I don't care what role you have. I don't care what hat you wear. We're all in the business of making great change happen. And it's easier to make that change happen when we are visible. Don't feel bad about identifying your abilities. And like Hunter said, promote them, highlight them, let people see them. Let people see what you can do. Tell them, I'm good at this. I am a good cleaner. I know a woman who cleans houses, and she has a business, so she's got a staff that cleans houses. And I love talking with her because when she says, I am the best cleaner you will ever find, I believe her. I believe her. And if she didn't have a long waiting list, I probably would be saying, please come clean my house. You're really good at it. Whatever you're good at, the gifts, the talents, the abilities you have, I just want to encourage you today. Don't hide them anymore. Raise your hand, not to draw attention to yourself, but to draw attention to the fact, if you have a fire, I'm a fire extinguisher. I'm right here. no good to have a fire extinguisher in the room if you can't find it. There could be somebody sitting next to you on the pew at church, sitting next to you on the seat on the bus. They could be bumping shoulders with you during your day job, and they don't know that you have the answer to their problem. It's up to us to tell people this is what we do. And I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart, this isn't drawing attention to yourself and making it all about you. It's quite the contrary. When you really understand the value that you can add to the people in your world, and you tell them that, you are giving them a gracious gift. And that gift takes courage, because it's not something that many of us want to do, but it's so, so important. So that's Sunday Night Live tonight, folks. I want you to thrive in change, and I want the people that are in your world to thrive right along with you. Barbara, I'm so glad you jumped on, because when we let people know this is how I can help you, they are so grateful. They are so relieved. Yes, Shay Allen says, here I am, I can help. Yes, here I am, I can help. That is the opposite of being pushy. Those red signs that were hanging all over that mail processing plant that say exit or fire extinguisher or stairs, all of those signs are there for a really important reason, because if nobody can find what they're announcing, those things don't matter. You matter, my friend. People need to know. You need to not hide any longer. Come out from behind that modesty that says, I don't want to talk about myself. Then don't talk about yourself. Talk about them. Talk about how you can help them. You are in pain. I know how to fix it. If I know that you're starving and I have a cupboard full of, let's just say they're candy bars, because starving people need candy bars. If I have a cupboard full of food and I know you're starving and I don't tell you I have it, what kind of a person am I? You've got a cupboard full of great stuff. Hi, Sheila. Mwah! I'm so glad you're here. You have a cupboard full of gifts, of talents, of abilities, of caring, of sharing, of knowledge, of wisdom. You might have nail polish strips, like my cousin Joanne, who sells nail polish strips. But they're amazing. They're convenient. They're a godsend for people who have no patience. I could go on and on. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Whatever you're doing, you are doing it for a reason. And that reason is what should compel you to get out and let people know, this is what I do, and this is how I help. So with that, my friends, I'm going to say goodbye for another Sunday Night Live. I can't wait till next week. Next week, maybe, I'll talk about control. Because seriously, we can't talk about change without talking about control. Eric, let's see. Thanks for the message. Awesome timing. I need this now. Eric, I'm so glad. It's an honor to do it. It's a blessing to do it. And seriously, I want people to know I can help. Tune in. If you're struggling, if you have a challenge, if you need to be motivated, I'm right here. I can help you. And I want you to do the same thing. You guys have a great night. Mwah! I love you all. And I will see you next week. Joe, you're the last one in, but I'm going to say hi, and I'm so glad you jumped on. I hope you go back and watch the replay, because I'm getting ready to sign off, but I'm so glad to see you here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.